So when people are reading on like ESV, that doesn't necessarily mean it's like the dumbed down version of the King James.
No, definitely not. Because modern translations take into account the breadth of the evidence. So the vast majority of the manuscript evidence that we have, in terms of something like the earliest copies of the papyri, there's the documents written between the 2nd and 4th centuries on papyrus. We're just not, we didn't even know of them.
Yeah.
In the 17th century when the King James translators. Now, the King James translators would have utilized that if they had it. They just didn't have it. And so in regards to that, an ESV is taking into consideration the breadth of the material.
Cool.
And something like the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? Those were discovered between 1946 and 1957. And so we just know more now. So that's why I say, as time goes on, even though chronologically the 17th century is closer to the 1st century than we are, the available data that we've been able to analyze and study is just far more in the modern era.
I love this video. There's a lot of people KJV only, NKJV only, like churches that are pushing, this Bible is the only one you should be reading. Now, don't get me wrong, this Bible here, my main Bible that I put my notes in, is NKJV. Now, if the church I went to only used, let's say, ESV, I'd probably just use the ESV. And now this is probably one of my favorite Bibles, just because the fonts, the lettering, how it reads, it's amazing. But this one here has got most of my notes in, and I still love it. But for those that are trying to push this agenda that, this translation should be used and this one shouldn't, well, when you look at the facts of what has just been said, the ESV has been taken, the translation has been taken from manuscripts that were earlier, or should I say older, than the ones found used for NKJV and KJV. So what does that say? It just means that this is closer to the original manuscripts, and this one is taken to ones that are still good, but just maybe not as accurate as the ESV. So when you see verses that are dropped, omitted, it can be disheartening. I remember when I first saw this, reading the Lord's Prayer, and I saw that part of the Lord's Prayer was taken out. I went back to this, but then over time I was like, wait, just because it was taken out of here, it doesn't mean it was removed. It may just mean it was added into this one, and based on the manuscripts, it was never in there in the first place. But at the end of the day, it doesn't take away from the essence of the word. It doesn't. And I think that's important. Something important to reconcile with is the translations do not take away from the essence of the word. Apart from Jehovah's Witness Bibles, the ones that are amplified, the Passion, those aren't, Bibles I would recommend you read. Those are ones that can aid you in your understanding of the word. But let me know, what translation do you read and what do you think about the video?